Yo guys, Loco JP here. I did pick Challenger, notably Grandmaster and EU West, and I want to explain how you can, for free, review your replays and get some educational value out of it. You're gonna figure out things, you're gonna learn, you're gonna develop your thinking patterns. Let's just jump straight up into it. So in here, I'm just hovering, just in case Belvet or Olaf tries to sort of invade this mastery. That's the reason I was positioning here. You can take a slightly safer route, this one, but usually no one sits in this bush. It's like Bigfoot, maybe like 1% of the time someone gonna sit here, you know. Now, in here, how do we play this matchup? Again, like fundamentally correct. Now, in here, ask yourself some questions. I'm gonna reveal everything. This Olaf is in the bush, but now you guys can see it as well. So, let's explain things step by step and compare the kits so we can actually like understand like what's going on. Alright, so from the base stats, Olaf is a melee champ, so he has higher armor and more higher resistances, right? He has higher AD due to his base AD and obviously his D-blade. Notably, he gets 50% attack speed when he is lower on HP. Maximum value gonna be at 30% HP, and some lifesteal, which also scales obviously with levels, so this is gonna get progressively stronger and stronger. Now, if I do compare my passive conditionally heals if I hit my E or my W or if someone dies. So sometimes if I don't hit anything, my passive doesn't really matches the all-in power of Olaf's passive. That's one thing. Now, okay, we got this chief. Now the other one is his underthrow, which gives him constant chase ability, because what does this ability do? Let's just compare things, let's just learn. For now, you're gonna observe abilities, you're gonna observe their cooldown, and this way you can understand how to play the matchup fundamentally correct. Because I know the cooldown, I know the damage, I know the armor penetration and so on, but you don't know them. If you don't know how to play fundamentally correct your matchup, if you don't know like how to layer your abilities, then this is something you have to learn. I know this is the boring part where it just says ability slows. I already see the ability that it slows, you know. Or if it penetrates armor, I can already see it does damage, but it's important to know some exacts, because how Olaf's Q like functions. So it has a 9 seconds cooldown, but it can be a bit tricky, because if Olaf picks up the X, this ability's cooldown is reduced by 2.5, but fully refunded if it's, 2.5 seconds have elapsed. So notably it can completely reset as well. And based on the distance, and slowing by 25% for up to 2.5 seconds based on distance traveled. So again, this is something very important to know, because the further it travels, the more it's gonna slow, the more chase opportunities it's gonna give him. Now, if I compare my own Q, it does some damage in close range, and my passive does have no combat capabilities. So level 1, the reason why you don't win this all-in is because he got higher base stats, more stat checky passive, notably Q as well, and we just simply cannot match that all-in power. That's the reason why I can just run at him and basic attack him to that. So it's important like why you can't. It's important to know why you can't all-in. Now in here, he's already brute forcing an all-in, thinking I will Q the minions when he's low HP. So in here he's forcing a all-in, but I have phase rush. So his Q does slow. It sucks, right? We can see this is the slow duration and this is the armor penetration duration. So there are two different things that you can kind of like observe. The armor pen lasts longer. Now the only way we win this if we kite out from his basic attacks, because he also does have, generic Olaf runes, Conqueror. He has obviously like some stat checky runes as well that matches his kit, Conqueror. Last stand, notably approach velocity, so he can chase me properly. So I would just simply not win this all-in. But because I have phase rush, that gives me anti-slow and also a movement speed boost, I can disengage from his basics and get a positive trade done, while I'm also soaking XP and gold. I missed the basic there, I got one last hit, right? But he lost half of his HP, and soon I'm gonna be full HP. So him zoning me off of 2 last hits wasn't actually worth, just because I managed to disengage with my phase rush. So this is the reason why you take phase rush, and especially after his 6 he just fists you. This is the reason why you want to actually do this, so you can disengage from him, you can disengage from Belvet ganks, and look, we are full HP. So he lost more than 50% of his HP, just so that I also get a freeze here, because he overpushed the wave. The guy also plays cheesy setup, generic stuff, biscuits, and he's gonna use his W very late, to sort of cheese me. That's like another cheese you have to play around, because his shield can be quite gigantic. based on missing HP, and it provides a lot of attack speed combined with the lifesteal from his passive. He can heal a funny amount. So even though he's very low on HP, if he has biscuits up and potion, which this guy doesn't, he could still all in me. Now because he doesn't have those tools, I'm actually able to step up, because in here he sadly can't stat check me anymore. He doesn't have the tools. I have a big minion wave on my side, but we should still be concerned of Bel'Veth. Hint, most of the times stay with Raptor side, most of the times. And again, what do we do? Why do we position so aggressively? So the only way he farms is with his Q that barely does any damage to you currently, and if you connect an E, that damage is completely diminished because you heal, so those trades are not concerning. And so the reason why I step up aggressively is that I could possibly zone him off XP while at the same time I'm last hitting, if it makes sense. But I also have to be a bit more respective of Bel'Veth, because now I revealed the whole map, but I don't see the whole map. I don't know if Bel'Veth tries to level 3 gang. So at the same time, I'm also sort of trying to like not be a bit too cocky, and here I missed my E. He brute forces an all-in, but what's the problem with this all-in? His HP is already chipped down. So normally you don't win this all-in, don't get me wrong, you do not win this all-in if his HP wouldn't be this hard chipped down. So no, that's very important. He still has his W, but he has to pop it. He's forced to W. Now in here, he's gonna die to my Q because I spaced out. But have you guys noticed? Have you guys noticed one interesting thing? I'm almost full HP. He has like 30% of his HP bar, right? He almost killed me. If not for the phase rush, he would actually kill me here. I'm not even kidding. If I wouldn't disengage here, it could get messy. And look at how much damage he dished out, while also he's level 3 and M4. So you guys can see and observe with your own eyes the key difference that he has, the all-in power compared to me he has, because also his abilities, like some of his abilities also deal more damage than mine. And again, like the only thing I could sidestep, notably sidestepping is important, is his Q. But he could, like my Q is not very sidesteppable, but my E and W could be, right? My E and W could be. So note that, and you know my W also is like a very long cooldown. So individually it's not the best ability without combining it with something. In here you can go safer, Boots of Swiftness if you feel like. If you play the game well, you could also get away with Fated Ashes. Super good damage item into non-D-shield users. He plays D-Blade. So the poke value actually gonna benefit you, because this does 15 damage over 3 seconds. Kinda like helps around grabs. They have a Bel'Veth, but sadly in here they all the time had this bard rotating, mid died or something, so we couldn't really get these grabs. And again, what do we do here? We bar the bush. The reason why you wanna bar the bush, the only way Bel'Veth can gank if he arrives, ganks from the bush angle, because he could Q forwards, W connect his knock up his W, potentially. Now there is a bard as well. It's a bit problematic because there is a bard as well that's missing, so that could be scary. But we are not really in a dangerous spot because we have phase rush. So again, like as long as we are fishing for some good W's, we're gonna stack our HP bar. We can look for trades because again, even if he Qs into us, we're gonna heal it up. So you shouldn't be scared to trade in this particular position. But I'm also a little bit more cautious now. And again, we push him away. So when someone is close to you, you're not gonna pull them closer. You're gonna push them away. That's how Swain's E actually works. So it's very important to note. So you shouldn't be scared, you know, that you're gonna pull someone unnecessarily into you. Again, what do? We are not over pushing the wave, but we are also positioning to poke, right? Because the wave is in a good spot. His minions are killing mine because there are more minions, simply said here, right? And once again, he's only allowed to Q farm, which can also be, again, I can trade into him if he's trying to Q farm. And notably, he can't all in me, because we saw what he can do with 30% HP. Now imagine what can he do with like 50%, let's say, right? So he does kill you. So what we do now is that we just try to like harass him a little bit, but also we don't step way too far up. Like we don't step far up like here, because Bel'Veth Bard could actually Bard is both sides, but Bel'Veth could actually like rotate into us. He could all in us potentially if we don't have phase rush. Now if you have phase rush, you can play more aggressively, but I wouldn't play too far up because you could get chunked if Bel'Veth is around, and then they could force a dive. So either way, it's not gonna be fun for you. I did try to connect the knee instead of last hitting, so sometimes you can also kind of like balance CSing with pokes, because if you hit like a good poke here, he's gonna be progressively lower and lower. to the point where you could potentially force him to P, so you're gonna lose more CS if it makes sense. You're not gonna hit all of them, but you shouldn't think like, oh my god, I didn't hit the ability. And in here, what do? I force him into my W. I could then go maybe for a basic, but it shouldn't be a concern. I chunked him pretty hard. He's getting progressively lower and lower on HP. So what does that mean? Well, you're gonna overstay. Grabs are still a bit far away, not too far from us. But we could look potentially for a dive or something if Mastery would come. Or we could also like look for just chipping him down, forcing him to recall on a big wave. That's why I'm stepping up a bit more aggressively. We also spot Belvat, same trick as I used before. We're gonna get like a really nice trade. He trades back. It shouldn't be concerning. Again, just because we have actually like healing. Now what do? We have phase rush on cooldown, and he's about to hit 6 soon. He doesn't have ghost though, but he's still about to hit 6 soon, so that's could be scary. He missed his last hit, and what do? We don't kill this melee minion until it denies the cannon, right? Now in here we back off a little bit. The reason why we back off is that we can ward, and we can also pick up the plant, and we can also make this Olaf potentially overpush the wave to the point where we might get freeze again. Who knows? He ward. I could then go for a deeper ward though. He overpushes the wave, but in here it's still questionable to play too aggressive, because despite of our level advantage, as we can see, his kit is way too stat checky. So I still have to play it out safe, guys. I sadly still have to play it out safe. Again, this is also totally fine, because he could just, even if I would R, he could maybe ghost away. So again, like, it just really E-hit dependent, but he could R ghost away or something, So it's like, I mean, he could use either or, right? So it's not likely we're gonna kill him properly in a all-in, especially we lack flash. So I chose to hold the wave on my side. And again, we just played the game. What do we do, guys, now? We just play the game of CSing currently. And we take just CS advantages. Now, small advantages are still advantages. We have a CS lead. In here, I started pushing, but for no reason. I'm not even kidding, for no reason. Because you know what's the problem? Sadly, what's gonna happen is that, look, like, we kind of have people to rotate, but Sona will start trolling, sadly. I think this is the time where I think Sona will start trolling. She overstepped, and after, sadly, she starts trolling. It's very sad, but soon, the whole game, she died like 17 times after this point. Just like mentally lost it. So sadly, they picked up the Sona, she overstepped. We got the prio, now we pushed it reasonably. This was fine what we did. But the problem is, Sona got caught, guys. So when I saw the Sona being caught, I shouldn't even rotate at that point. I'm not even kidding, I shouldn't even rotate. She dies, that's it. There's no play, because sadly, what did they use to kill this Sona? Nothing. Nothing, and they gave Belva the true form. She still has R, Bard is not 6 yet, but he still has Ignite. They have everything. And the problem is, Jhin also got the rotation, so there's just no physical way of me contesting it, but I can still get 2 stacks. I can chunk this Bard down, so it's more likely gonna force him to be. I recall, life goes on, right? Sadly, Sona died. And so what can we do? We are just buying our items, currently building towards Blackfire Torch, really fun item. Now the reason also like why you don't want to go, usually, I build, you can get Frozen Heart some matchups, or you can get like, that mana component for Frozen Heart, but sometimes it's just not recommended. The reason why it's not recommended, guys, is that he already has armor pen and true damage in his kit, so you're not gonna stat check him. Most of the times, even if you have leads like this, it doesn't mean you win an all-in. So it's like another thing you have to learn about top lane. If you have a lead, it doesn't mean you win any type of all-ins. Now, if your champion is the type, as we play Swain here, that can slowly, chunk the enemy champion down and look for something, then yes, I would say you can look for an all-in, but not a straight up one. Even though I have 2 level advantages, it's funny, this Olaf would still win this all-in, even through this minion wave. So I don't care. I don't care if this wave is here. It's not like allow his fundamentals. We have a big we have a wave on our side. We win that all-in. I mean, I'm just kidding. He definitely knows stuff like this as well. But just because there is a wave, you still don't win that. There's a level advantage too. You still don't win that all-in. You still don't win that. And again, what do we do? Now, why I don't step up and play too aggressively? I have phase rush cooldown, so if you guys noticed, every time my phase rush went on cooldown, I decided to not play aggressively. And as I said, Sona started trolling. So what do? Again, we don't all in him. He still kills us. He still kills us. We can slowly chunk him down, but the straight up like I walk at him, I all in you, it just would not work. It looks funny, I know, but we don't have anti-heal yet. It looks a bit funny that we don't win that, but we don't win that. Also, like if I try to all in, again, like if I try to R, he could ghost away, or again, if I don't hit my E, he could just Q and walk away. So there are scenarios where it just kind of doesn't work out, you know. Now again, he tries to heal, I try to chunk him. Because, why do we step up so deep though? Bel'Veth is both side, Bard is both side, right? So normally, this is a bit illegal to punish him on CSing, but now he's low enough to the point where I could actually like outplay him very easily and look for an all-in. I missed my E. It was a bad, maybe it was a bit of a bad W from my part, but in here he's really chunked at this point, and at this stage we have too much damage. So you kill him by having too much damage, not by having too many defensive stats, because building armor is just gonna, and now he's too low. Now he's too low, but he still could be a risky dive. It still could be a very risky dive because he does have sums. He heals, he has a gigantic shield. His shield can get pretty big. 202, you say, right? And again, in here we can look for something because look, he's too low. Flash for flash. Now we're gonna get ganked, sadly. We're gonna push this, we're gonna get our Lost Chapter mana, but sadly, again, there is no... in particular, I tried to overstay and connect something into him, but he did ghost away, so I did slightly misplay by not Eing instantly. Maybe an instant E would hit, but he could possibly also like sidestep it, so probably like an instant E would also be something. Now in here I have to pop my R just to disengage, it helps me to slow him down and all of that, pop my phase rush. I'm pinging my teammates, but sadly this Olaf is tax-free. He's perma-low on HP, but he's like tax-free perma-low on HP, because again, I think there was a communication problem on my part, because I could then also tell my jungler to gank this guy. Because like he goes bot lane, he goes mid, I think he just does nothing, because so many times he could then gank or kill this, dive this Olaf, whatever. I can even like aggro, tank, he can Q, whatever, you know, like you name it. But basically, like, like if you think about it, how many times this Olaf was like 50% or under that much HP, like there's just no miracle where, you know, he can tank two champions, you know, that have damage. We have damage, right? So that have damage, he can tank through that, right? And just start check and whatnot, especially when he's still behind, right? No Amp Scepter, no nothing. But this Tiamat is a good component for me. Now, for him, if he would proxy, it wouldn't be that bad if he gets to, but the problem is, this item gives me even more like freeze, or, you know, basically just gonna slow push back most of the times. You could just call it the freeze as well if you feel like. I didn't connect my E, so that was a bit of a misplay on my part. I instantly EW thinking that will hit, but it slightly missed. Which over pushed the wave eventually, so that's kind of bad. Now what sucks here, if Bard rotates into me or Bel'Veth, so we have to also be somewhat respective of that, but now we spot the Bard. We have wards against Bel'Veth, but this still could be in one of these bushes. Although I don't think so they're gonna care about this Olaf. It's not really like a win condition, and he can get bursted pretty hard, you know, so we connect both, but again, we still respect him. We still respect him because, again, same problem that shows up, we don't have phase rush, and at this point, our abilities did come up though, and our phase rush as well, so we can look to trade, but it still can be a bit scary. Okay, I'm pinging to help, but at this point it's gonna be a bit bad as well, because Bel'Veth intercepted here, exactly here. I did W, but I couldn't like pick the Bel'Veth up though. I just killed Olaf though, and because we traded so heavily into the Olaf, we could actually like fight, but he got a bit unlucky. Because I do believe, yeah, I think if I R'd maybe a little earlier, actually if I R'd a little earlier, and I had my recast to toss it into Bel'Veth, I think I would kill her. So the mistake on my part was not R'ing early. Because again, like Bel'Veth will most likely try to pick up, you know, the thing from me. And then I think like arguably if I R'd a bit earlier, then in here I would have the recast, you know. I would kill him, I would kill the Bel'Veth, so that was a mistake on my part if I look at the replay. It's important to also get learning value from your own mistakes. And again, because this guy, I'm gonna kite his basics out because you can see how much he hurts. Can you see how close this was? That's why I said this guy still stat checks you. You have no phase rush, he still all-ins you, he still stat checks you. He's way stronger in this all-ins than you are. So as you guys could see, again, same logic, he almost killed me. And Bel'Veth only W'd at the end. Right, 50% HP Olaf approximately. Sylvan's pretty hard, right? I'm even trying to focus the other guy with my Q, right? All that. And again, like, you can see I have to kite his basics out. Gladly, you know, he's short range. But yeah, like, it just, like, physically sucked because, sadly, there was no way of picking up this Bel'Veth. Sona came, but she just came to troll, I think, or something. She walked away. There's not super a lot I could do. Like, maybe I could keep her here, but if they could rotate into me technically, so that was a bit risky. It would be a bit risky. And as you guys can see, this is how you kinda like play stuff out, walk forwards, get the gate, you know, and push the wave. We are trying to rotate, but there is nothing, sadly. I'm pushing the wave, I'm trying to rotate, but there's nothing to rotate towards. It really sucks to give Bel'Veth these advantages, but ever since Sona started trolling, things kinda like went down with the heel because she got grubs, and she got like, basically also like, this Herald, and it gives like 2 minutes. It gives 2 minutes for her R. That's the problem. So, and she gets bunch of stats, you know. In her true form, Bel'Veth gains HP, she gains movement speed out of combat, attack range, attack speed, and Void Surge can pass through walls. That's basically her Q. So it just gives her like way too much agency. It's like a giga steroid, especially at 11. Because like this ability scales well with levels. So we can see she gets way more speed, way more attack speed, the HP and all that. So people are giga spamming on in the chat. I can't even pull it back, I dragged it to the side. And I think that's it for now, because as I said, from this point on, this game gonna get into a very sad state where it's not only Sona, but everyone will end. I'm not even kidding. At this point, we got the educational value, but as we can see, again, like at this point, it was just kind of a flip shit game that I wanted to FF, but people still had like some vain hopes, and I explained them that games like this are cooked because Sona is randomly R-ing, she's walking into the enemy champion, she's dying, so again, like she like, again, technically everyone else is also like countered by tier champs that checked in some ways. So again, like, we just don't have that much power because there's just too much of a like, I think it's just basically like mentality diff. Now that's it for now, guys. Have a nice day, love y'all, see y'all in the next video.